All right, so yesterday when I called to my local dealer, Scag dealer, to ask for the OCDC, I thought the part number is gonna be 923A, but I was informed that they have a new version that is 925A. That is the electric version instead of the manual. So I got it today. Let's see what's in the box. So apparently we have the replacement flap for it. Some electrical wire for the operation. Yes. Look at this, we got a new handle. What I'm assuming is that this handle is hollow so that we can install a button to operate it or something, but we'll find out. So it's a handle. And that's the chute opener. It's the chute door, I guess. Alright, what's in here? Okay, so we got a bunch of bolts and nuts. I already took the instruction manual out. Let's see, what's this part right here? So look like this is the mechanism to open and close the chute. Let's see, what does this say? All right, and let's see, some additional parts already painted in the orange color. Okay, hinges. Okay, and the bolts. All right, I just went over the installation of the striper. So this video here, you can find that in the other video under my channel, but this video will focus on the installation of the OCDC by Scag. You know, this is the electric version, not the one that you manually operate with a handle. So, all right, let's start. After using half an inch wrench to take out the deflector, the flap, we're gonna have to remove these, what they call turbo baffle, from the outer deck. So it's involving this half-inch bolt and also this nut here, I guess, before we can remove this assembly out. Quick lesson for those who don't know how to read the thread count, where it said you need 5 16-inch to 18 threads times 1-inch bolt to install the hinges here. And you find similar bolts, but if you pay attention, they're the same length here, which is about 1 inch from this end to where the cap starts. So this is 1 inch. That is this number right here, and then 5/16. So if you put the smaller one here, let's put a measure one here, you're gonna see that it's about 5/16 of an inch, the diameter of this bolt. Now if you put the bigger one, although this looks similar, but this one is a little bit thicker, you measure it, the diameter is gonna be about 6/16 inch. So the smaller one gonna be the one that you're gonna use to install the hinges here for the rear and the front. That's gonna be the location there. So for the rear hinge, we're gonna have to drill this bottom hole here with a 11/32-inch drill bit, and secure it with another bolt similar size to this on the bottom to secure this rear hinge here. So I marked the center circle to punch it for the drill, then I'm gonna have to remove this before I can drill, but look like it's gonna be very close to the edge out here. So let's remove this and see what happens. As you can see here, this is the bottom of the circle, so this doesn't leave much room before I get to the edge. So this dot here is the center point for that drill. We're gonna use, again, the drill bit size is gonna be 11/32 inch. It's gonna be really close to the edge, but let's give it a try. So I had to drill 2 holes here and attach this front hinge. The next step is to line up with this template, push it against the rail here, line up this hole, and just mark do a center punch here, just mark so that you can drill that for the harness later on. So I'm going to drill this and go to the next step. So now you see 2 holes. Now this one you didn't have to drill because there was a bolt that secure the they call it the turbo baffle that we removed at the earlier step. So now we got 2 holes on the back and through here. So after you install the block off plate and tightening the hinge screws, then you place this entire assembly in, starting with aligning that bracket to the hole that we just drilled on the deck, and try to line things up, and then center punch these holes. What you have to do is you're gonna have to drill 1, 2, and 3 holes, and then we're gonna bolt them down. This is gonna be the assembly that assists with the opening and closing of the blacker. Okay. So for the 3 position, that one, this one here, and the one on the deck here too, we're gonna use 1-inch bolt and get installed with the flange stop nut here. It's different than this regular nut that we used earlier for the hinges. We're gonna use the one with the flange here. So what happened is that the nut gonna face upward, so the bolt is on the bottom. So that's this position, that, and the other one on the deck. This one here, we're gonna have to use a self-tapered bolt. So I'm gonna do that last. All right, let's put these on. One more thing to note is that make sure if your deck is dirty like mine, at least scrape around the areas where your bolt's gonna go, so that the dry grass doesn't serve as another washer when you're tightening them down. Same for this one on the front, for that one up there. And make sure you scrape around it where the bolt's gonna be. I'm gonna have to clean my deck later on. So this 4th screw here, they call it self-tapping screw. This one here, it's a little bit larger than the rest, but it's not really self-tapping because the tip is just flat like our other screw. But this is the only one I can find that is 1 1/4 inch tall. So I guess that's the one. And I think it's a little bit larger than the 11/30 inch drill hole. So it's coming in. You just have to be careful with it. Also, you gotta use a different size wrench for it. It's 9/16 to get us in, but work it slowly through. That should be the one. Okay, so I haven't secured the screw yet because per the instruction, I gotta install the 1 1/4 inch screw through this first. I gotta put a washer in between, and then I don't know if I should adjust this and lengthen it out, extend it out, so that when this is fully extended, this is gonna close fully, instead of if I pull this up to reach it. It's slightly open, but I'm not tightening it for now. I just bolt it in, and then I'll see how this hub behave first. And then if necessary, at that time I can just unscrew this and extend this arm out so that I push all the way in. But right now I don't know if this is all the way shut or halfway, I don't know. So I'm gonna just put this in first, and then worry about the length later. So right now I'm gonna have to slightly open it so it can reach, and then not tightening this yet, but maybe I get it together, and then I'll put the washer here in between. I guess it's the same way how there's a washer between this arm and this part here. So, all right. The instructions say we gotta install the bolt this way for the arm, but I noticed that it got stuck here, and we kind of dent this. So I'm gonna switch the direction, put the slimmer bolt head on this side, and see what happens. As you can see, with the bolt going that direction, it gives it much more clearance for the operation of the flap. See, it doesn't get stuck to the left or to the right at all. But if you go that direction, then the tail end of the bolt gonna keep rubbing against this flap. So just one tip that I learned from this installation. See, it doesn't interfere with the bolt head, doesn't interfere with the rubber flap at all. All right, that's one thing I had to correct at the very end, but I'm glad I saw that. Next step is to mount this radio frequency control module into the mounting bracket using the smallest 1-inch bolt with a washer provided. You gotta go in this way and secure them with the associated nut foam, and then we can bring this whole harness and install into those 2 bolts right there. We're gonna have to remove those bolts first, and then put this whole module into there. Remember that the buttons gotta face up, okay? So these bolts are much smaller. I had to use the 7/16 wrench to tightening them. Now we're gonna remove these 2 bolts, retain them, save them, and then reattach them with the harness connected to it. Okay, so let's do it. Look like I forgot. There's this piece too that I have to attach to here before I tighten that bolt to secure this module into the bracket, the mounting bracket. So this bolt here, the small one, the small bolt, is supposed to secure this metal protector before I tighten it. Apparently it doesn't connect to this side, so okay. So the instructions say that we have to connect this green wire here to the key switch, and I can access the key switch anywhere from here. So look like you're gonna have to loosen those bolts and take this panel off to locate this is port A of the key switch, and try to slide this green wire in, and then we have this male end that we're gonna insert into the female port connector of that module, that our radio frequency module. Likewise, the motor here has the connector, the cable with a female end, which we're gonna connect to the male end of the radio frequency module, and then the main cable that leads to the battery, green wire, gonna connect to the key switch, and the male end going to be connected to the female end of that RF module. Okay, so I'm gonna have to remove this and try to locate the key switch port and insert this green wire in. I guess that is it for the cabling. This is just a fuse, and gonna have to connect the red one to positive terminal of the battery and the black one to the negative terminal. Okay? And don't forget to unplug all the cables from the battery before you work on the electrical portion of this installation. See, now that the green wire is connected to that key switch, just lead the male end to that RF module. So the way I did it is that I ran the new wire to this channel here, get it ready, and kind of run the wires and zip tie them up, and then plan on how far it's gonna get to these connectors. And then any excess wires, cables in between, I'll just tuck it under this panel and hide them away. So it will look much cleaner. As you can see, it's gonna run through and get into that hub there. And then I gotta tie them up inside this opening space inside, and then run back out here. This one has a little gap here, so we can run the wire out. Then tie them together. That's it. They instructed us to not plug in the motor yet because it could cause some movement while we try to sort the wiring out. So I'm gonna try to plug that back in and see how it works. Okay. But in terms of cabling, it's simpler than it looks. So these are the fuse boxes, just tucked into the opening there. One more thing is when you zip tie the cable, try not to do it too tight. Don't over tighten it, that you would squeeze the gas line coming from that tank there. Okay. I think that is it. Next step is to move the right handlebar and replace with this provided one. That's a hollow end so that you can attach this remote control. I think this is wireless, so you're gonna have to remove this battery tab before use. And I guess they leave a little notch here so that we can pry it off of the handlebar to replace the battery whenever needed. I don't know what type of battery they use, but I'll deal with it when it's out of battery later on. But I think you can also manually use those red and green buttons. I'm gonna have to test it out to see if that's true. I guess it's a right-handed in the instruction, but if you're left-handed, I guess you can just remove the left handle and put this on the left side. It'll work exactly the same. Depend on your dexterity. Okay. Last step is to mount this flap back onto the rack there. I don't know if we can operate without this flap. I know that the manual version is required, but since this one has a motor in it, I don't know if it's even necessary. But for me personally, I got a lot of kids running around in the backyard while I cut my lawn, so I need this for safety reason. So I'm gonna put this on and complete the installation process. I'm securing this flap to the arm here with 1 1/4 inch standard lock nut with a washer in between. Again, just same size and everything to this arm on the bottom. So one thing to note too is that this entire assembly will be controlled by the motor, therefore we don't need to add the spring tension for the flap anymore. So this is pretty much left unused. I'm probably gonna have to put in a bolt to keep that closed on the deck. All right, guys, work is completed. You can see my other video on how to install the striper kit. But okay, let's test it out. Press the button on the handle, okay? Let's do it. Okay, and I think many of you may be wondering if we can remove this flap totally. I think because this one is controlled by the motor, so I think technically you can just remove the flap and it's still gonna work perfectly fine, because the mechanism here is just totally controlled by that motor right there. So it can hold this closed or open without the counterbalance from the flap. So for me, I need the flap, so I just keep it on like that. Let's do one more testing. Press the button. Yep. And you can also press the red button here to do, it's the same thing in case you run out of battery. So, and this is how I ran the wires. This one is a little bit extra long, so I just do one loop around that post there. Run it against the rail there inside that gap, back to here. It's actually simpler than I thought. I was a little bit confused about the key switch, the plug to the key switch, because I didn't see anywhere in the instruction tell us to disassemble this panel here, but apparently you have to do so in order to reach the bottom of the key switch to plug that green wire in. Overall, it's not that bad. Took me like half a day. Ran the wire, zip tie them. Just make sure you don't over tighten the zip tie. Just make sure they hold the wires together, and that's good enough. So, all right. So there we go. This is the. I think they just came out with this late 2022. So when I called in to get the manual, the manual OCDC, I was told by my local dealer that they no longer sell that, and it's being replaced by this updated model, the electric version one. Although I think they probably should still give people the option to do it manually. So. The part number for the electric OCDC is 925A. The old manual OCDC is 923A. So, all right, last try. Kim, let's do it. Oh, one thing I also hate about it is that the provided level, it's like a little bit too short, but I guess they have to do so. Here's the switch. Very convenient. This one is battery operated, so it's wireless. Gonna have to replace battery once in a while, but that's it. All right, you like it, Kim? Yeah. Do it one more time. One last time. Ooh. All right, guys. Bye. Many of you are curious to see whether or not we need this flap or not in order to operate that properly, because I know for the manual OCDC, many of you have to retrofit a spring to keep it open or closed whenever you want it. So for curiosity, I took that off, but I know that because it's controlled by the motor, so the mechanism there, that's the motor should be able to hold it up or close. So try it. See? All right, open, close, open, stop. Just leave it. Okay, now open and leave it. Press. See? So it can remain open without the flap. All right, just got the answer there.